On a sweltering July afternoon in Charlotte, North Carolina, 13-year-old Jamal Wright noticed a sleek silver Bentley stranded on the side of Highway 74 with a flat tire. The driver, a sharply dressed man in his 60s, fumbled with a jack, clearly out of his element. Jamal, riding his bike home from a summer job, stopped to offer help. The man, tech millionaire Victor Langston, was skeptical at first, but Jamal's quick hands and know-how fixed the tire in minutes. That brief encounter would spark a mentorship that transformed Jamal's life, opening doors he never knew existed. Jamal Wright grew up in a tight-knit but struggling neighborhood in West Charlotte. His mother, Keisha, worked double shifts as a nursing assistant, while his father, Terrell, had been laid off from a factory job 2 years earlier. Money was tight, but Jamal's parents instilled in him a strong work ethic and a belief in helping others. At 11, Jamal started mowing lawns to contribute to the household. By 13, he'd landed a part-time gig at a local auto shop, where he learned to change tires, check oil, and troubleshoot basic car issues. His boss, Mr. Hawkins, called him a natural with machines. Jamal's curiosity extended beyond cars. He loved tinkering with old electronics, fixing broken radios and phones he found at thrift stores. School was tougher, his middle school was underfunded, and teachers often seemed stretched thin. Still, Jamal excelled in math and science, dreaming of becoming an engineer someday. He kept a notebook of sketches, ideas for gadgets he hoped to build. But with his family barely scraping by, college felt like a distant fantasy. Victor Langston, 64, was a different story. A self-made millionaire, he'd founded a cybersecurity firm, Sentinel Tech, in the 1990s, growing it into a powerhouse worth over $400 million. Langston was known for his sharp mind and sharper temper, a man who valued competence above all else. He'd grown up middle-class in Raleigh, attending MIT on a scholarship before striking it rich in Silicon Valley. Now semi-retired in Charlotte, he focused on philanthropy, though he was selective about who he helped. Langston had little patience for excuses or inefficiency. That July day, Langston was driving to a board meeting when his Bentley hit a pothole, shredding the rear tire. He pulled over, cursing his luck. He'd never changed a tire himself, his assistants handled such things. The roadside assistance number was busy, and the heat was relentless. Langston was loosening the lug nuts, poorly, when Jamal pedaled up. "Need a hand?" Jamal asked, hopping off his bike. Langston glanced at the skinny black kid in a faded t-shirt and hesitated. "You know how to fix this?" he asked, skeptical. Jamal nodded. "I work at an auto shop. Takes 5 minutes." Langston stepped back, watching as Jamal grabbed the jack, positioned it correctly, and loosened the nuts with practiced ease. He swapped the flat for the spare, tightening everything securely. "You're good to go," Jamal said, wiping his hands. Langston, impressed but reserved, offered a $20 bill. Jamal shook his head. "I didn't do it for money. Just helping out." Langston raised an eyebrow. "What's your name, kid?" Jamal introduced himself, then pedaled off, unaware he'd just caught the attention of a man who could change his future. Langston couldn't shake the encounter. Jamal's skill and selflessness stood out. The next day, he called his assistant, Maria, and asked her to track down the boy. Maria visited Hawkins' auto shop, where Jamal worked, and confirmed his identity. Langston decided to meet Jamal's family. He drove to their modest apartment, surprising Keisha and Terrell. "Your son helped me yesterday," Langston explained. "I'd like to return the favor." Keisha was wary. Strangers with promises often meant trouble, but Langston's sincerity won her over. Langston offered to mentor Jamal, starting with a visit to Sentinel Tech's Charlotte office. Jamal was thrilled. The office was a world of glass walls, humming servers, and engineers coding on massive screens. Langston introduced Jamal to his team, explaining the basics of cybersecurity. Jamal soaked it up, asking questions about encryption and firewalls. One engineer, Priya Sharma, noted his quick grasp of concepts. Langston gave Jamal a laptop loaded with coding tutorials and a challenge: build a simple program by their next meeting. Jamal dove into the task. He stayed up late, teaching himself Python from online videos. 2 weeks later, he showed Langston a basic encryption tool he'd coded. It wasn't perfect, but for a 13-year-old with no formal training, it was remarkable. Langston, usually stingy with praise, nodded approvingly. "You've got potential, Jamal. Keep at it." He enrolled Jamal in a STEM summer camp at UNC Charlotte, covering the $2,000 fee. Jamal thrived, winning a robotics competition and earning a certificate in coding fundamentals. Keisha and Terrell noticed a change in Jamal. He was more focused, talking nonstop about algorithms and circuits. But school remained a hurdle. His teachers, overburdened, didn't challenge him. Langston stepped in again, connecting Jamal with a tutor, Dr. Marcus Tate, a retired computer science professor. Tate worked with Jamal twice a week, guiding him through advanced math and programming. By 8th grade, Jamal was coding apps and repairing laptops for neighbors, earning extra cash. Langston's mentorship wasn't just technical. He taught Jamal about navigating professional spaces, from writing emails to shaking hands firmly. He shared stories of his own struggles at MIT, where he'd felt out of place as a scholarship kid. "You'll face doubters," Langston told him. "Prove them wrong with results." Jamal took the advice to heart, carrying himself with quiet confidence. A year after their meeting, Langston invited Jamal to a Sentinel Tech board meeting as an observer. The board, mostly older white men, was discussing a new internship program for high schoolers. Langston introduced Jamal, highlighting his coding projects. One board member, skeptical, quizzed Jamal on cybersecurity threats. Jamal answered confidently, citing ransomware trends he'd read about. The room fell quiet, then erupted in applause. The internship program was approved, with Jamal as its first participant. The internship, starting the summer of 2025, was a turning point. Jamal worked 20 hours a week at Sentinel Tech, shadowing engineers and debugging code. His first project, a tool to detect phishing emails, saved the company $10,000 in potential losses. His supervisor, Priya, wrote a glowing review, recommending him for a scholarship. Langston, quietly proud, submitted Jamal's name to a national STEM fund he supported. Jamal won a $50,000 college scholarship, renewable for 4 years. Jamal's success rippled through his family. Terrell, inspired by his son, enrolled in a welding certification program, landing a steady job. Keisha reduced her shifts, spending more time at home. The Wrights moved to a better apartment, closer to Jamal's high school. Jamal, now 15, started a coding club at school, teaching classmates to build websites. His principal, Ms. Rivera, nominated him for a Youth Leadership Award, which he won at a citywide ceremony. Langston and Jamal's bond deepened. Langston invited the Wrights to his home for Thanksgiving, a rare gesture for the private millionaire. Over turkey, he told Jamal, "You remind me of myself at your age, hungry to learn, too stubborn to quit." Jamal grinned, thanking him for the laptop that started it all. Langston waved it off. "You did the work. I just opened the door." By 2026, Jamal was a high school junior, dual-enrolled at a community college for computer science credits. His apps, including a budgeting tool for low-income families, gained traction online. A local news station featured him, dubbing him Charlotte's young innovator. The story went viral, drawing interest from tech giants like Google and Microsoft. Langston advised Jamal to focus on college first, recommending MIT or Stanford. Jamal applied to both, his essays recounting the tire that changed his life. Years later, Jamal would graduate from MIT, join Sentinel Tech as a lead engineer, and start a nonprofit to mentor kids like himself. But it all began with a flat tire, a boy's kindness, and a millionaire who saw potential where others might have seen nothing. That moment on Highway 74 didn't just fix a car, it built a future.